Welcome back to my channel, and be prepared to have your mind blown. This is so crazy, so super easy. Anyone can do this. Everyone just loved the video on adhering intricate dies with the Gemini machine, but this time we're going to do manual crank die cut machines. And for anybody that's doing Christmas cards, intricate die cuts, this takes forever if you're trying to glue them, if you're trying to spray them, it just gets messy. And even if you try running cardstock through the Xyron and then die cutting the die cuts out, it's so tedious trying to peel, like you're literally trying to get in there and peel the backing off. And I don't have time for that. So this method is just, in my opinion, so much easier. If you prefer to run your cardstock through the machine and then die cut, that is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. To me, this is just an easier, better method, and I can't wait to show you. This method helped me so much to be able to do all of my intricate die cuts for my Christmas cards this year. Every year I do Christmas cards for my clients that buy from my Etsy shop. I sell these cute little bears on my Etsy shop. So every single client that buys from me, I love to send them a Christmas card. So I'm going to show you how to do this to where you're just not going to lose your mind. This is so simple. The cardstock that these die cuts are going to be cut from is the Brutus Monroe Glamour Gloss cardstock. It's in the color Red Carpet, and it's really shiny, beautiful red, very holographic and beautiful. So the die, in case anyone is wondering, is from Crafter's Companion, and it's the Merry Christmas die, and it's such a beautiful die to add to any of your Christmas cards. But this is the packaging and what it looks like. You can use any Xyron for this. I personally have the Creative Station because you can use 9-inch refills, but you can also put a 5-inch refill in here, and I use the permanent adhesive, so it makes it really convenient. If you don't want to have a whole lot of waste with a 9-inch cartridge, then you can just pop in your 5-inch and be good to go with that. Now, I'm going to run my die cuts through here really quick so I have them all ready to go, and then we are going to get into the manual machines. One other reason why I was drawn to the Creative Station for putting all the adhesive on the back of my dies was also when you turn this handle, it does not squeak. It's not annoying in any way. I did have a white Xyron at one point. I think it did like 4-inch adhesive or 5-inch adhesive through it, and it had a blue knob on the side of it. And every single time I would turn that knob, it was like scratches on a chalkboard with your fingernails, and it was the most wretched sound I'd ever heard. So I just tossed it. I literally just tossed it and bought this, and I absolutely love it. So that's the only reason why I particularly love this machine. There's no funky sounds or anything like that. I have 4 manual die cut machines here that I'm going to be showing you. If you don't see your machine, I do apologize. In the video, I am going to tell you how to make it possible that it should be able to work with your machine. I have 4 machines available to me that I personally own, so those are the machines that I can definitely show you. All the plate configurations are different on each machine, so keep watching that I have big machines and small manual crank machines. I'm going to show you all of them. So first up, we have the Gemini Midi, and it's a little bit of a harder hand crank machine depending upon how thick your die is that you're using, because some dies can be different thicknesses, but this is an amazing machine and I love it. The reason why I use my automatic Big Daddy Gemini machine is just because if you have trouble with your hands, the hand crank ones can sometimes be difficult to use, especially for someone like my mom. She has her hand injured when she was little, and it's harder for her to do stuff with her hands sometimes. So that's why I love the automatic run your plate through. It automatically does it yourself because it can just be easier on your hands, especially if you're doing a lot of card making. Sometimes the machines can be a little bit wear and tear on your hands, but they're absolutely amazing machines. So you're going to take your folder that came with the Gemini Midi and you're going to lay that down, and then you're going to take your die cut that came straight from the Xyron and we're going to lay that down next. Now if you were to just go ahead and peel this off of here and then peel up your die cut and try to stick it to your project, you're going to have all kinds of webs and stuff up in here, and anyone that's tried to use the Xyron knows that this is just a yucky mess and it's horrible, and like just trying to rub it out, and it's gross. That's the only word for it. It's just gross. So to get rid of those webs, this is what we're going to do. So lay that down, face up, and then you're going to need the Gemini Junior 6x9 inch rubber embossing mat. This mat is very thin, this rubber embossing mat. So you're going to lay that down. If you don't have this or somehow yours got ruined, you can always buy this mat online. Several sellers have them for sale, so you'll be able to find it, and they actually make bigger sizes too. So if you can't find the size that you need, just cut it down to a 6x9 and you're golden. The next part of our sandwich is going to be the Gemini Junior 6x9 inch metal shim. So you're going to take your metal shim and you're going to put that on top. And then after that, this came with the Gemini Midi. This actually came with the machine. It's a purple shim, and it's just a thin plastic shim. And you're going to put that on top of your metal shim. Okay. So once we've got that all together, you are not going to close this folder down. No, do not do that. If you do that, you could possibly hurt your machine. Do not do that. And just as a disclaimer, like, this is a different kind of way that you can work your machines. So just be cautious when doing any of this stuff because you don't want to hurt your machines. So follow the directions the best that you can and you're going to have a fabulous outcome. So keep your plates just like that, and then insert the clear folder. And remember, we're not closing it. Do not close it. Make a mental note, like write this down or save this video, but write it down so you do not forget to do this. And then we're going to crank this through the machine. And it just runs through like butter. There is not like any real pressure on this, so it runs through really nicely. So doing it this way, you're not going to have to worry about hurting your machine or anything like that. If you do a different plate configuration, I cannot guarantee that that will not hurt your machine. But then we're going to take everything back up. And we're going to look at it. See all those good crinkles in there in the paper? That's how we know that it's really got contact. And then for the reveal, ta-da! I swear guys, this is like magic. Look at that. And I'm gonna peel it off here so you can see that this is a legit thing. Look at that. That is so good. So easy. Amazing. It's just like magic. All right, guys, now that you've seen the Gemini Midi work, we're going to move on to our next die cut machine. For our next machine, we are looking at the oh so fabulous Diamond Press Marquee. This thing is amazing, and it's like a 4x6. Yeah, it's like a 4x6 die cut manual machine. And this thing, when compared to the Midi, it's smooth like butter when it cuts. The handle is so easy to use, and I just absolutely love this machine. So with this machine, you're going to take your folder that came with your Diamond Press Marquee, and you're going to lay that down, put your die cut that was run through the Xyron right inside that folder. And for this next part, it really hurt my heart to do this, but the mat, the rubber embossing mat that I showed you in the previous section with the Gemini Midi, I had to cut this mat. So you're going to need the Gemini Junior. You're going to need one of these thin embossing, rubber embossing mats. This is a 6x9. I had to cut it to a 4 4¼ inch by 6 1/4 inch piece. So I had to cut the 6x9 down. I hated taking scissors to this. It was so painful. But you can just literally lay it down and cut it to the length that will fit your folder. It just makes it that much easier. So you're going to take the rubber embossing mat, the one that you cut down from your 6x9 rubber embossing mat, and this is thin. This is really thin. So just stick it on top, just like that. Make sure that die cut is facing up toward your rubber embossing mat, and you're going to close the folder. So that's what we got. The Gemini Junior embossing mat is on top of your die inside of the folder. So that's what we got for our sandwich. We're going to run it through the machine. So here it is with all of its crinkled goodness. You do not want to use a rubber embossing mat that's really thick. You do not want to hurt your machine. I cannot stress that enough. I've used this mat. It's thin enough, it works. I tried finding stuff around the house, everywhere, and I could not find anything to take the place of this thin rubber embossing mat from Gemini, from Crafter's Companion. You can find these mats, the rubber embossing mats, on the Crafter's Companion website. You can also find them at a couple other different places like HSN, scrapbook.com, Simon Says Stamp. They all sell them. So for the reveal, look at that. Is there anything more satisfying? And this is just a simple folder, die, rubber embossing mat, fold it over, run it through this machine. This is really simple. This is like a no-brainer. So I'm gonna peel it off just so you can see that this actually really works. This is no smoke and mirrors. This actually works. Look at that. This just makes my heart happy, guys. Now we're going to do this small manual die cut machine. It's the SideKick, and it does super small die cuts, and it's really convenient if you're in a pinch and you have something really small that you're wanting to die cut for a card or one of your scrapbook pages, and this thing is just so super cute and adorable. So I'm going to tell you how to make this work. For this portion of the video, I'm going to change dies since this machine is so small and it takes smaller dies. And the die that I'm going to be using is from a collection. I think it was from a bundle, and this came with the bundle. I don't know if this was like a mystery gift or I can't remember. But this word thanks, and it's a Gemini from a Gemini die. It's from Crafter's Companion. It's such a beautiful die, but it's so intricate. So this is what the die itself looks like. Look how tiny that is. So tiny. Can you imagine trying to glue those fine lines there? This would be a nightmare trying to glue this. But I am going to show you how to do it the easy way. So this is our die cut. Once we've run it through the Xyron, it's all ready to go. But look how intricate. There's no way I'm going to sit and try to glue this and then try to paste it to my project. I am going to have glue everywhere and such a headache. And if you're mass producing like thank you cards or anything like that, just know we're gonna do it this way. These are my plates that came with the machine, and you can see they are well loved. I have gotten a lot of use out of them, but you're gonna need these 2 plates. So we stick the plate down. Next, your die cut that we ran through the Xyron, you're gonna put it down, always face up. And again, you're going to need that rubber embossing mat by Crafter's Companion, the Gemini Junior embossing mat. Cut it down, and that's where you're going to get this piece of rubber from. So I'm going to show you again, just in case anyone's skipping through the video and they're like, what is she doing? This is what I'm talking about. It's the Gemini Junior rubber embossing mat, the 6x9, and I have cut it down to the size of my SideKick plate. So it is the size of my SideKick plate. So 6x9 Gemini Junior rubber embossing mat, that's what you're going to want to use. So take the piece of the rubber embossing mat that you've cut down, and we use this because it's thin. It's just enough. Do not overdo it. Do not go in there and try to use a different embossing mat, thicker, different size, it's probably not going to work, especially if it's thicker and you don't want to damage your machine. I keep repeating that because people all the time, they scroll through the videos, and I don't want anyone to hurt their machine. Without a doubt, I do not want that happening. So put your rubber embossing mat on top of that and sandwich it in your plate, between your plates. So once you have your sandwich, again, we've got our clear plate, we have our die cut run through the Xyron face up. We're going to put the rubber embossing mat on top of that, and we're going to sandwich it with the other clear plate, and then we're going to run it through the machine. Now remember, if you didn't do this method, you're going to have to glue this. You're going to take the time and have to glue every single little curly Q, and those are thin lines. You're going to have trouble even getting that to stick to a card. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So we are going to peel this up for the reveal. And just like magic, no webs. This is just fabulous, guys. And so easy for any of you that have these smaller hand crank machines and these itty bitty intricate dies. I mean, this is just a no-brainer. Just do it this way. Don't mess with the glues. Don't do it. It's gonna save you so much time. And I couldn't even imagine taking this out of something that's got, like, if you had a double stick backing on this and then trying to go in there and peel that backing off, you're gonna break it. It's so intricate and detailed, and you don't want to break it. So look at that. Try to hold this so you can get a better look, because it's really, really fine, detailed. And there's no other way you're going to be able to do that except for this way. So for the really tiny dies, the SideKick works like a dream. If you've subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you so much. I enjoy creating. I'm a maker at heart. I do all kinds of gardening and stuff outside. I love to share all that content with you. Product reviews, everything I love, I'm going to be sharing it on this channel, but most importantly, my creative side and my tips and ideas, and I have a lot more things that I want to share with you. So if you haven't hit that like button or subscribe, consider doing so, because it's the only way that I can share my ideas with you to make your life a little bit easier. Next up, I have the Big Kick by Sizzix. I do apologize for not having the Big Shot available to do a test on that. I think the basic principle is going to apply to both machines on how I do this. So you can try it in your machine. If anything, like when you're using it, don't like force anything through the machine, because you don't want to tear up your machine. But I've had this machine for several years and it's well loved. And at one point, because I was forcing things through the machine, I accidentally like bent the handle, and my husband had to bend the piece inside of the handle to get my handle working correctly again. So bless his heart, he was able to fix it for me, so I still have a usable machine. Thank you so much for any comments you leave below. I love reading all the comments, and I'm so appreciative. And it lets me know if these videos are helping you. I absolutely love creating, and anything that I can create or come up with, or an idea that's going to help make your life easier, especially crafting, because us crafters don't have enough time in the world anyway. So I'm so grateful to all of everybody that's commenting, and especially when you're subscribed and I can share more of my ideas with you. Now you're going to need your regular plate system that come with the machine, and I'm sorry I have little notes on top of the tabs and things to remind me of what goes where because my memory is very short term. So take your plate that came with the machine. You could probably use it on tab 1, but I mean, try it if you want to, but for today we're going to use tab 2. Now you're going to take your clear cutting plate and you're going to put it on top of that. My plates are purple, yours are probably going to be clear. I had to buy new plates because mine got all warped, so these are the cute little glittery plates that I bought to replace them. Now stick your die cut that we ran through the Xyron, stick it right on top of that, and then again you're going to need the Gemini Junior 6x9 rubber embossing mat. It's thin, it works perfectly. So far, every single time that I've tried this through a machine, and of course the plate systems, your sandwiches are going to vary depending upon what machine, what manual machine you are going to be using. But this definitely try it in the Big Shot. Let me know if it works. Be careful, do not break your machine, do not force it through. But take that and lay it on top of the die cut that is facing up. You always want your die cut facing toward the rubber embossing mat. And then stick your other clear plate on top of that. So that's our sandwich. And we're going to run it through the machine. I can't wait, guys, to see how many of you this video helps. I am so excited. So again, all the crinkly goodness, that's what you're gonna want. And then we're gonna peel it up for the reveal. Look at that. Crisp, clean, no webs, just a perfect die cut with adhesive on it. And then, of course, I always peel it off to reveal so you know that it works. And just like that, it's like magic. The one thing that all of these machines used in this video that worked with every single one of these manual die cut machines to make this process possible was this Gemini Junior rubber embossing mat. If you get you one of these, even if I did not have your die cut machine in this video, if you have one of the manual hand crank machines, you should be able to use it with your plate system and come up with the most creative way to use this rubber embossing mat with your Xyron die cuts and make it happen to where you will never have to glue intricate die cuts ever again. So test it out, try it out. Remember, never force anything through your machine if it doesn't seem like it's going to work. This is a game changer, total game changer. If this video helped you, please give me a comment below and don't forget to like the video. I would so appreciate it. Let me know what you think. Which die cut machine do you have?